The following is a special presentation of the Simulation Football League.
Has some space, breaks a tackle, and then another, and then Johnny English, oh my goodness, best run of his life, past the 15, down the 10, first and goal, Cleveland! Transcorp Stadium in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It's a beautiful 55 degrees sunny afternoon in the home finale for your OKC Renegades. The playoff push on the SFL Network on Twitch starts today as the 3-4 Oklahoma City Renegades look to clinch the third seed in the playoffs as they host the 4-3 Orlando Intimidators here on OKC Radio 105.3. Lock it in and shoot the knob off. Hello everybody, I am your play-by-play commentator Cameron Irvine. The final week of the SFL regular season is upon us and the drama is about to begin. Let's head down to the field for today's coin toss.
Give us tails.
It is heads.
We'll kick.
The Renegades have won the toss and select a kick.
So from Transcorp Stadium, we're all ready for some football. The Renegades and the Intimidators kick off now. From the 9, Orlando receives the first half kickoff and will return it up to the 28-yard line. So out comes Ono Matsumoto, and let's take a look at the star players that make the biggest difference for the Intimidators. Zach Parker this year, number 1 in the league in rushing, 1,282 yards. First in the league with 7.5 yards per carry and 13 touchdowns. Jasper Lennox is third in the league in sacks with 5. And Rodney Woods leads the league in interceptions with 6. As Matsumoto will step up and throw out of the pocket. That is caught for a first down at the 48-yard line. So a nice start for the Intimidator offense. Allen with his first catch of the day. Lorenzo Allen and Thomas Gunner have stepped up as viable receivers after a slow start to the season. So first and 10 at the 48-yard line. They go 4 wide receivers, 2 to either side, and Matsumoto is in the shotgun on Orlando's second play of the day. As Matsumoto drops to throw, Matsumoto down the middle, off the hands of the intended receiver, and Oklahoma City catches a break. Jones applying pressure, and it brings up second and 10. So you got to look at Zach Parker's numbers. Here's the rest of the Orlando starting offense. Quarterback number 3, Ono Matsumoto, he's a silver. The receivers are silver, number 44, Lorenzo Allen, bronze, number 89, Thomas Gunner. And the bronze tight end is Isaac Perez. And on second and 10, Matsumoto will throw again, deep again, and tipped away again, and nearly intercepted. Looking for Gunner, the first time he's been targeted on the day, but Well defended by the Renegades, and it brings up 3rd and long. And Orlando, with the league's top running back, begins the game with 3 straight passes. And it sets up a 3rd and long, just shy of midfield. 3 receivers all to the right-hand side, and Matsumoto's out of the gun. 4 down linemen for the Renegades, and really only Stackhouse in the box. Play action, and Matsumoto's going to go deep again, and that pass is caught! And tackle is made at the 11 by Tank Savage. Thomas Gunner makes the play, and Orlando has come out, pardon the pun, guns a-blazing here in the first minute of action. 4 straight passes for Matsumoto. He's 2 for 4. And they have gone deep on this Renegade secondary that has often struggled this year. Not as good as they've been in years past. First down and 10 at the 11-yard line. Still no carry for Zach Parker. And 7 in the box now for OKC. And Matsumoto will throw again. And Matsumoto will go down the middle. That pass is knocked away. Boy, I'm a little shocked at Orlando's first offensive series. Oklahoma City against the run is 3rd in the league, 109 yards giving up. Oklahoma City just 5th in the league in pass defense, giving up 316.6 yards per game. 2nd down and 10 from the 11. No score here early on in week 11. Four receivers, 2 to either side, and Matsumoto fires down the middle. That pass is caught, and Allen got the first down, surging ahead past a couple of tacklers. The Intimidators still have not run the ball on the opening drive, and it's 1st and goal. They have gone right down the field on Oklahoma City. The Orlando offense dramatically improved. They are 2nd in the league, averaging 35.9 points per game, and it's a 1st and goal on the 1-yard line. And Matsumoto will finally hand off to Zach Parker, and he'll lose a yard. Excellent push up front by the Renegade defense. That was Jenkins on the tackle, brings up 2nd and goal. Oklahoma City in the home copper helmets, green jerseys, the copper pants, golden yellow numbers, green and white trim. Orlando in the road white helmets, gold jerseys, black pants with the white numbers and the dark blue and white trim. 2nd down and goal from the 2. Allen top of the screen, Gunner bottom of the screen, and the handoff again is going to go to Parker, and he's going to be stood up again. A 2-yard loss. It's 3rd and goal. And maybe this is why Orlando was choosing not to run the ball earlier in the drive. Oklahoma City is not going to let Zach Parker beat him today, and it's 3rd and goal from the 4. Big Willie 54, I'll update you on those playoff scenarios for San Francisco in just a minute. 3rd down and goal from the 4. Matsumoto back to throw. He's going to swing it outside over the outstretched arms of a defender, and Orlando scores a touchdown. Zach Parker can't do it on the ground, but he does it through the air. And it is an Intimidator touchdown. And silly me, forgot to load some graphics. So bear with me. The extra point for Franklin Reese is good, and it's 7-0. Orlando kicks it away. They score on their opening drive, and Reese's kickoff goes out to the 5-yard line, return up to the 29. So we got to look at Orlando's leaders. Let's take a look at Oklahoma City's leaders. Pete Bruschi, 2nd in the league in rushing, just 50 yards behind Parker, 1,232 yards. He's number 1 in the league in carries, 249 this season, second in the league with 12 touchdowns. Cam Michael is number 1 in the league this year with 12 passes defended. Also top 5 in interception return yards with 44 this year, as Redfeather is going to go deep on the first play and way overshoots Johnny Bierme on the left-hand side. Not quite sure what Redfeather was so excited about there on that opening play, but it's an incomplete pass. Adam Stackhouse is second all-time in the league with 233 tackles and number 1 all-time in the league with 39 passes defended, and those are your OKC leaders. Second down and 10 from the 29-yard line after the incompletion from Redfeather. And the handoff to Brewski around the right-hand side is only going to pick up 2 yards, and you have to think that both of these teams are going to key on these top running backs this afternoon as Lee makes the tackle, brings up a third down and 8. The rest of OKC's offense, quarterback number 12, a silver, Joseph Redfeather. The receivers are number 84, Johnny Bierme, a rookie. Number 81, Chris Taylor. They're both bronzes. Redfeather over the middle. That pass is caught. Breaking a tackle. And a great spin move. Gets a first down. Renegades! What a play on a third down and 8 to get a first down. That was one of the most impressive 9-10-yard catches that you are going to see. A brilliant play. That was a non-star in the slot over the middle as well. The tight end is number 89, Tiberius Bovine. Redfeather out of the shotgun to throw on a first and 10. He's going to check it down. That pass is incomplete, and this time the pass is dropped by, I believe that's Armstrong out there, number 82, targeted twice here early in the first possession. Second down, 10 yards to go.
Second and 10.
So both teams have come out throwing a little bit more than we're used to seeing. As the 2 top running backs are being keyed on, there's 7 in the box for Orlando. Second and 10 out of the eye. The handoff goes to Brewski, right-hand side. He's going to break off the tackle, and Brewski's in the open field past the 40, 35-30. Pete Brewski shoved out of bounds at the 26-yard line. First down, Renegades. Pete Brewski says, well, if my defense can't do anything, I'm going to have to do something big, and Rodney Woods made the play to save the touchdown. Lambert was also chasing him down from behind. Great block on the outside to spring Pete. First down and 10 at the 26. 2 carries and 35 yards here in the early going for the Renegades. First and 10 at the 26. The line to the right is Brewski, and Redfeather's going to pass him in the middle. Pass is caught right past the defense. That is Bovine. A gain of 12 and another Renegade. First down. This is just a nice play, and Lambert was pretty much frozen. He was cold as ice. First and 10 at the 13. Oklahoma City in the red zone for the first time today. They are last in the league in red zone touchdown percentage, just 35%. First and 10 at the 13-yard line. Receivers either side, and Redfeather takes 3 steps back. He throws a slant, and that pass is knocked away and incomplete. Rodney Woods, who leads the league in interceptions, as mentioned earlier in the broadcast, 6 on the year, knocks that away, and it's second and 10, the pass intended for Bierme. The Oklahoma City Renegades, if they win, they are the number 3 seed and would take on Baltimore. If they lose, they're eliminated from the playoffs. San Francisco, it really doesn't necessarily matter, or this game doesn't necessarily matter to their playoff positioning. If they win Monday night, they clinch the 4th and final playoff spot, as Pete Brewski gets a pancake block on the left side and nearly picked at the first down. Nice blocking by the Renegades to set up a third down and inches. If the Bulldogs win Monday night, they are in as the 4 seed and would play Minneapolis in the first round. If they lose, they would fall to the 6 seed and be eliminated from the playoffs. That's the Bulldogs' playoff scenarios. We'll get to other teams' playoff scenarios throughout the day. 3rd and inches from the 3. The toss play to Bruschi, trying to stretch it to the outside. He's going to get the first down. Not the touchdown, but keeps the drive alive. 1st and goal, OKC. With 7.5 to go in an exciting first quarter. First and goal from the 1 now for the Renegades. And Redfeather is going to hand it off to Bruschi, and he's got touchdown number 13 on the season. A brilliant drive by OKC to answer Orlando's touchdown drive, and it's 7-6. And the extra point with the lefty kicker is good. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns. The playoff push is alive and well. Renegades 7. Intimidators 7, 7:05 to go in the first. OKC, the same playoff scenario as San Francisco. Win and in, lose and out. From the 8-yard line, Orlando on the return up to the 27. The Intimidators playoff scenario is a bit more complicated. They can get as high as the 2 seed or as low as the 5 seed and be eliminated. The 2 seed is with a win and a Baltimore loss. The 3 seed is with a win and a Baltimore win. The 4 seed is with a win and, a loss and a Honolulu win, and the 5 seed is a loss and a San Francisco win. 1st and 10 from the 27 as Matsumoto will drop deep again to throw. He steps up in the pocket and gets blasted at the 19-yard line, a loss of 8. Sack made by Victor Jones. And he got crunched on that one. 2nd down, 18 for Orlando, following the first sack of the day for either team. Second and 18 from the 19-yard line for Orlando following the sack. Matsumoto is going to swing it out to Parker, and Parker's got no room. No room on the outside. Only a gain of about a half a yard. 3rd and long for the Intimidators. Both teams looking for their first stop of the game. The defense includes Michael and Stackhouse for Orlando, but the rest of the defense includes, that is the newly acquired Isaac Wallace you're seeing, who made that last tackle, number 32, the bronze. The strong safety is number 49, Tank Savage, and the free safety is number 45, Billy Joe Casper, as Matsumoto will step up and fire deep down the field. That pass is nearly intercepted. It's 4th down. Billy Joe Casper says, not in my house. And Orlando has to put it away. First punt of the game for either team. A lot was made about the Matsumoto and Walker trade over the off-season. A very interesting stat for you here that I'll share with you after this play, as the low snap is fielded cleanly by the punter. He gets the kick away, past midfield to the 46-yard line, and a decent return up to the 48 for OKC. That's where they will start their second possession. Brilliant field position. So Matsumoto and Walker swap places in Honolulu and Orlando this offseason. This year, Matsumoto has 1,758 passing yards. Walker has 1,757. They both have 12 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. I'd say the trade, pretty moot point, as Orlando is right back where they usually are, and Honolulu is struggling to make the playoffs. 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line, as Red Feather will hand off on account of Brewski, right-hand side. Brewski, great blocking again! Pete Brewski to the 36! He is dominating right now! 64 yards on 6 carries into the first down, Renegades! Tackle once again made by Rodney Woods, who has been active early. And Orlando just doesn't seem to have an answer right now for Pete Brewski. Honolulu needs Orlando to win, otherwise they are eliminated from the playoffs. The third team to be eliminated. 4 receivers hand off to Brewski. Brewski makes a spin move, and then another. He's got a first down again to the 25. Keeping up his 10 yards per carry average, Pete Brewski, another first down, Renegades. And OKC's offense has come out firing here in the first quarter. They are 6th in the league, scoring only 24.9 points per game. And the toss play out to Brewski around the right-hand side. He's going to be cut from behind, but a nice 3-yard gain up to the 22-yard line. Brings up a 2nd down and 7. Orlando's defense this year, they've also improved. They're one of 3 teams only giving up under 30 points per game, 29.9. That's 3rd best in the league. 2nd and 7 at the 22. 3 receivers, 2 to the top of the screen, short side right, and the handoff goes to Brewski on a counter, and he is going to be pushed in the backfield, a 4-yard loss. A great push up front by the defense. Now 73 yards on 9 carries, and it's going to set up the first 3rd and long of the day for the Renegades, with under 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter. 4 receivers, 3 to the short right-hand side. In man coverage is Orlando. Red Feather back to pass. Steps into the pocket. He's going to be sacked. A 5-yard loss. And that sets up a challenging 48-yard field goal attempt as Kerry Foster, the defensive tackle, makes the play on Red Feather, and he didn't have much time to throw. Had to escape the pocket quickly. Both teams with a sack here in the quarter. And the Renegades will send their field goal kicker out there. This one a challenging one, about a 47.5-yard kick from the left hash. A promising drive for OKC ends in 2 negative plays. And the field goal, a good push by Orlando up front. They can't get to it. The field goal is good from 48 yards away. Nicely done, Stephen Griffin. And the Renegades take their first lead of the day. And have scored twice on 2 possessions, and boy, that barely squeaked over the crossbar. From the 10-yard line, Orlando on the return and flattened at the 29. CasualAdultGamers.com is an official partner of the Simulation Football League. If you'd like to join the online, Xbox 360 All-Pro Football 2K8 experience, they're now currently in Season 38. Head on over to CasualAdultGamers.com for more information. A 1st and 10 from the 29 and trips right for Orlando. They've done barely any running today, and Parker's going to get a carry, and he's going to lose 3 more yards. Zach Parker has negative yards rushing here in the first quarter. Oklahoma City all over Parker in the first 10 minutes. Hand off to Parker, left-hand side, and this is a much better run from Parker. First down with a man to beat into Oklahoma City territory at the 49. There was no one on the left side to stop Zach Parker that time. And finally, Zach Parker gets moving up the field as he made Billy Joe Casper miss. Tank Savage saved the touchdown. So 1st and 10 after Parker's biggest run of the day. Orlando down 3. Has an opportunity to host a first-round playoff game. Trying to get that done today as Matsumoto will swing it outside to Parker, and Parker's got minimal space to run, and he gets his legs whipped out from under him. Only a 2-yard gain. Will bring up a 2nd down and 8. Great pursuit by the Renegade defense. A 120.1 quarterback rating thus far for Matsumoto, 75 yards and a touchdown. Matsumoto is changing the play, wiping the side of his helmet, and he will drop the throw. Pump fake, Matsumoto all day, back deep. That pass is nearly intercepted by Stackhouse, who got his first career interception last week. Mentioned earlier, leads the league all-time in passes defended with 39. That is his 40th. Passes defended is a fun stat to keep. Who else leads the league all-time in passes defended? Andrew Ball's got 30. Dorsett, 32. Cam Michael, 37. Kalenka, 34, among others. Matsumoto swings it outside left. That pass is caught, but well shy of the first down. Lorenzo Allen only a 3-yard completion. And it's another 4th down for Orlando. And Oklahoma City's defense, after getting rid of some shell shock on the opening possession, has forced 2 punts.
Oh yeah, this one's mine. This one's mine.
So the kick is away from Orlando. This is a good punt inside the 10. It's going to hop at the 5-yard line. Insane. Officially marked at the 6. OKC will start inside their own 10-yard line, and that's way worse field position than starting for their own 48 on the last possession. And it's APF 2K8, Darth Destro MD, Dr. Sim 80, DXYZ, YYZ1. I'm an effing problem, Jared Page Man, as Brewski takes the carry for 2 yards. New 14, OKC Renegades prospect and owner TJ Kagasfeld. T Paternity and X Factor 56 along with us here on the first broadcast of week number 11. Couldn't really spread the word about today as much as I wanted to. Had technical difficulties for about 50 minutes before we went on the air. Glad we were able to bring you the game today, as Pete Brewski's going to lose 2 yards, and finally Orlando has started to get a push on the offensive line of OKC as Stephen Lambert makes the tackle. It's 3rd down and 10, and that may be the final play of the first quarter. A very good quarter of play for Oklahoma City. They've scored let's try again. They've scored on both of their possessions, and they lead 10-7 here at Transcorp Stadium. This is Renegade Football on 105.3 FM, and we'll be right back after this.
To me, they're like the greatest form of self-expression. And at the center, I'm meeting other people just like me.
I treat patients who come in with the most extreme forms of permanent selfie arm, like Julia here.
We can hail a taxi like that. People think she's always wanting one, so whenever we want one, it's like there.
Multitasking is not just what I do well, it's what I have to do.
She is a guru with the selfie.
We're gonna do a bunch of pictures, quick fire, pose. The perfect selfie starts with lighting, making sure your background's dynamic. What's in your background? Make it interesting, guys. You want to have a good angle?
I felt it.
My grandma, she was one of the first people to ever take a selfie.
On avait des appareils énormes, alors je suis devenue très forte. Regardez-vous ça. Voilà.
When it comes down to it, there's nobody better at taking a picture of you than you.
Dell and Intel proudly support learning, doing, and the perfect selfie.
Let's do a brand new day. Let's step away from the bland and let the color fly. Let's get to the one store with more #1 choices and match this or this without using too much of this. Then, let's crack open a can and get to it. Paint? No. Let's do POW. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Glidden Duo starts at a new lower price of $25.46 a gallon.
Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It will beat you to your knees if you let it. Nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Xbox One, now starting at $399.
This is the story of the brothers Kavanaugh, who, with their Dell tablets and a host of integrated tools, kept their business cosmically in sync with Intel processors.
Oklahoma City Renegade Football on 105.3 FM is brought to you by Dell. By Xbox. By the Bricktown Brewery, the official watch party location of your OKC Renegades. And by Lowe's, your home improvement superstore. Third down and 10 now for OKC, backed up their own 6-yard line. A 10-7 advantage over Orlando here on the SFL Network on Twitch as the handoff on a 3rd and long is going to go to Brewski, and it's only a 1-yard gain. A very conservative play call there from the Renegades, and they will punt deep in their own territory. And that is the first stop of the game for the Orlando defense. Let's take a look at the stats from the first half of work. Pretty even, more running than passing for OKC, and the opposite for Orlando. But 98 yards for the Intimidators to 96 for OKC from his own end zone. The punt is away, and Orlando is going to start in Franklin Reese's field goal range at the Renegade 33-yard line. A short punt. Still have yet to see a star punter in the SFL. One of these days. 7 first downs in the first quarter for Oklahoma City, and both teams pretty good on 3rd down. 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line with 2 backs in the backfield. And Oklahoma City jumps offside, and Zach Parker double-teamed at about the 29-yard line. That penalty will be accepted. And it'll bring up a 1st down and 5 to go.
Neutral zone infraction. Number 92, defense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 1st down.
So that doesn't help matters for the Renegade defense, as that moves the ball up to the 28-yard line. Off to Zach Parker. He's going to be dropped in the backfield, and they should have taken the penalty, or they should have declined the penalty, rather. Would have been about a 2nd and 6. Instead, the OKC penalty actually saves the Renegades about 2 yards. 2nd and 8 for Orlando. 2 in the backfield again for the Intimidators. And they're going to hand it off to Zach Parker, and Parker's got a few more yards, but Billy Joe Casper comes up to make the tackle, averaging less than 3 yards a carry. here in the first half. He's number 1 all time. His 7.5 yards per carry this year. An outstanding number. He's having a career high season. His previous career high was 942 yards in a season. Third down and 5 at the 28, and Matsumoto down the middle. That pass is caught by Allen. A first down to the 16-yard line, and a big third down conversion for Orlando, who has punted 2 straight times. First and 10 at the 16, trips left. Matsumoto back to throw. He's going to go throw it again right in between 2 defenders. A laser pass from Ono Matsumoto hits the slot receiver and brings up a first and goal for Orlando. That was a dart while the defender had his back turned to the ball. Never even saw it coming. Two receivers, top of the screen. And the handoff goes to Parker. Parker again stood up. Nowhere to run, particularly inside the 5-yard line. And the Renegade run defense has been mighty impressive. 9:45 to go here in the first half. Orlando scored on their first possession. A touchdown pass to Zach Parker. Pete Bruschi walked it in on OKC's first possession. They tacked on a 48-yard field goal. Hand off to Parker around the left-hand side. And Parker's hit hard by Savage at the 3. Tank Savage, numerous tackles here in the opening half. Third down and goal again for Orlando. Oklahoma City's defense dead last in the league in the red zone, giving up touchdowns 67% of the time. They gave up a touchdown on the previous third and goal for Orlando. They're going to hand it off to Parker on the left-hand side, and he is going to be stopped to the 1-yard line. Fourth and goal, and Zach Parker was hurt on the play. He was standing up. This is a nightmare situation for Orlando if he really is hurt. Zach Parker was hurt in the final game of the regular season last year. They did not have him for the playoffs, and Orlando was eliminated in the first round. And he looked fine on that play as Franklin Reese tacks on an 18-yard field goal, but really unclear what happened to Zach Parker on that play. But a case of deja vu for Orlando. Last year at New York, Zach Parker injured, done for the year. He's the league's top running back. And that would be a very scary situation for the Orlando Intimidators if they have to go without him again. So with the questionable return of Zach Parker in a tie ball game, Oklahoma City comes back out onto the field offensively. Orlando showing a blitz. They bring 4, and everyone drops back into his zone, and Red Feather fires down the field. Pass is caught. That is a first down to the Orlando 47. Red Feather looking a lot better here today. Another Renegade first down. Red Feather, clean pocket, a long time to throw, fires and finds what looks to be an eligible lineman down the field. How about that play from the OKC Renegades? Apparently, he must have declared that he was eligible. I don't think that's a tight end wearing number 67. We've had a bizarre 60 seconds here at Transcorp Stadium. Red Feather back to pass. He's going to throw it down the field. That pass is caught. First down inside the 30. It's Bovine to the 27. First down, Renegades. Boy, Red Feather really looking sharp here in the first half. A nice 5-step drop back and a quick throw out to Bovine. Bovine has struggled in recent weeks, had his production cut. Still productive overall this year. 30 receptions, 447 yards, 2 touchdowns in his first season at tight end. First and 10 to the 27 for OKC. The handoff goes to Brewski. Brewski breaking off a tackle, still on his feet. And it takes 4 Intimidators to bring him down. A 2-yard pickup. Wearing out the defense. It's 2nd and 8. Ball game tied at 10. Oklahoma City has had to punt just once, scored on their previous 2 possessions. 4 receivers, 3 to the short side right as Red Feather drops to throw, and Red Feather's going down the field again, and the pass is caught inside the 10. That's Chris Taylor, and a first down, Renegades. Joseph Red Feather looking really, really good this afternoon. Red Feather, second worst in the league with a quarterback rating of 75.5 this year. 12 interceptions to just 7 touchdowns. The 7 touchdowns is lowest in the league. As the handoff goes to Brewski, he only picks up 1 and it's 2nd and goal. Lowest interception or touchdown count for Red Feather in his career in a season is 10. That was last year with San Francisco. Pete Brewski sucks a lot of touchdowns away from Red Feather, I'm sure. Second and goal for the 7 in the handoff to Brewski, dragging defenders, a 3-yard gain. Up to the 4 as you take a look at the updated running back numbers. Brewski, his yards per carry has gone down to about 5. But still doing a much better job than Zach Parker has done getting acclimated into this game. Two receivers, Beerme top of the screen, and play action from Red Feather. Red Feather sidearm throw! Touchdown to Johnny Beerme! How about the play call and a beautiful pass from Red Feather? Red Feather is feeling it right now. This guy is in the zone. A nice little route inside by Beerme and an even better throw from Red Feather, and OKC has their largest lead of the day. On point, Orlando having defensive difficulties as Oklahoma City has nearly reached another touchdown away from reaching their season average in scoring, and the Renegades have a 17-10 lead. Owner Michael Irvine's adjustments this week working big time. Renegades pretty hyped for today. Obviously a win and in situation at home. Can't ask for much more than that. Owner Michael Irvine will donate 50 trees per OKC touchdown today, so that's 100 trees already to help the tornado-ravaged areas in Oklahoma. Other promotions today, the 3 Bs, $1 beer and half off on food for the quarter for touchdowns by any one of the Bs, and Brewski and Beerme have scored in both quarters, so fans getting a lot of great prices at the concession stands. Allen on a deep ball makes his 5th grab of the day. That's a first down, Orlando, the OKC 44. And Matsumoto has been a bit overshadowed by Red Feather today, but he's had a very good day. That is a difficult pass to make. Joseph Red Feather also called his defensive stars up this week and told them if they can keep Orlando under 30 points, Red Feather will win the game for them. He told the defensive stars that he'll pay $3,000 apiece for an interception or a fumble recovery and $1,000 for sacks. So motivating his players in a controversial way, some would say. And Zach Parker has a broken finger. He may return to the ball game. That could impact his ability to hold on to the football. Irvine said he's never seen fire like this from Red Feather. It's been infectious to the team. And they're ready, and they look ready. 2nd and 10 from the 44, so prognosis on Parker is in. Matsumoto needs to get rid of the football. That pass over 2 defenders is caught, and a broken tackle is going to result in a touchdown. That is Allen along the right-hand side, and Orlando can tie the game with a Reese extra point. Another precision pass from Ono Matsumoto, who's playing one of his best games of the season. Allen rubbed off to the outside, and Tank Savage could not make the play. And this has been a thrilling first half of action. Not quite sure where everyone is this afternoon, but they're missing out. It is Easter weekend. Tough bill to sell. We certainly appreciate all of you though who are here. And the extra point is good, and it's Orlando 17, Oklahoma City 17. Renegades on the kickoff return, a tie ball game at 17 here late in the first half. We've seen 2 touchdown passes, no interceptions out of Ono Matsumoto, a touchdown and no interceptions out of Joseph Red Feather. And Orlando scored in a hurry on that last possession, proving that they don't need Zach Parker. They didn't run on that drive with Parker still sidelined as they hand it off to Brewski left-hand side. Brewski picks up a solid 5 yards out to the 25-yard line, still averaging over 5 yards per carry. Brewski has had some monster games this year. Last week, 337 yards on 30 carries for 3 touchdowns. The opening game of the season, 271 yards on 42 carries for 3 touchdowns. He's been over 100 yards in 5 of his 7 games as Brewski takes a trap play, makes a man miss, and the legend is off to the races, switching hands of the football and waltzing into the end zone. Touchdown, Renegades! Brewski's done it again! This is just a brilliant play call. Red Feather gets down low like a midget. Brewski needs to make only one man miss and he's gone. One of the toughest running backs, if not the toughest running back to tackle in league history. Brewski continues to kill defenses. Pete Brewski coming into the day, 4,886 yards. Congratulations to Pete Brewski. With that run, he becomes the first running back in league history to rush for 5,000 yards in his career. And it's OKC 24, Orlando 17. In an old-style Western shootout in Oklahoma. Persky now with 2 touchdowns and a return from the 9-yard line for Orlando up to the 29. Oklahoma City averages 24.9 points per game this season. They've got 24 points in the first half. Their largest scoring game of the season was the second game of the year against Minneapolis in a lopsided loss. They scored 31 points in that game. 3 in the backfield, trying to see if Zach Parker is back in the game. It's going to be a pass, a swing outside, and that is a 3-yard gain, and that does look like Zach Parker back from a broken finger, so he's got a small cast on that broken finger, or small stint, or whatever you call it. Need to get Eric Barkley to brush me up on some medical terminology. 2 receivers to the left-hand side, 24-17, Renegades lead by 7. The handoff to Parker up the middle, and Parker's got his best run of the day, or one of his best runs of the day. Gets a first down to the 40-yard line. So Parker comes back in, looks pretty sharp. That was his second longest run of the day, had that big one in the first quarter. Tank Savage on a beeline to Zach Parker, makes the stop, and that's nice camera work there. First and 10 of the 48, back and forth affair. Oklahoma City has scored on 4 of their 5 possessions. Orlando has scored on 3 of their 5 possessions. Matsumoto back to throw. He's going deep in the field. Pass is knocked away and incomplete. Allen has had a great first half. 5 catches, couldn't find him there. 7th time he's been targeted. Allen's season high this year in receptions is 9. The first 5 games of the season, Allen was held to under 100 receiving yards. And then Orlando's passing game caught fire. He's had 7 grabs for $140 and 2 touchdowns. A couple of weeks ago, had 9 grabs for 151 yards and a touchdown exactly 2 weeks ago. Second down and 10 from the 48 on the play clock for Orlando as they hand it off to Parker left-hand side. And Parker's found a lot of room on the left-hand side, more so than the right. A first down to the Renegade 45-yard line, and Parker's now up to 45 yards per carry, and slowly but surely bumping that average up to almost 4 yards a touch today. And we've seen some good blocking out of both of these teams this afternoon, and that play was no different. 2.5 to go in the first half. Who's going to have the ball last in this one? As Matsumoto's going to go deep down the field. That pass is caught by Allen. Misplayed by Billy Joe Casper, who has really had a problem this season playing the football. Casper has had a poor year at times down the field defending passes, and I'm not exactly sure what his issue is, but a down year for Billy Joe Casper. Just does have 4 interceptions this year, 44 tackles. The numbers don't necessarily indicate, and check that, that is 2 interceptions, only 4 passes defended this year for Billy Joe. Results in a first and 10 for Orlando at the Oklahoma City 16. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification along the Renegade Radio Network. The home of Renegades. Lock it in and shoot the knob off. 105.3, Oklahoma City. First and 10 to the 16-yard line, I formation, and the handoff goes to Zach Parker, and Parker will pick up 3 yards up to the 13-yard line. Second down, 7, 3rd trip in the red zone this first half for Orlando. The Intimidators are 5th in the league in touchdown percentage in the red zone, 38%. Second down, 7 to the 13. Matsumoto handoff Parker. Parker left-hand side. Parker, one man to beat. He walks in untouched and goes to sleep. Touchdown Orlando, and they will tie it back up with a Reese extra point. Fireworks here in the first half, and again, that's just tremendous blocking down the field. Bang, bang, and then a Parker touchdown. So both teams who have above average defenses have had trouble stopping both the run and the pass here in the first half. And the extra point for Orlando is good. And we've got a surprisingly high-scoring affair here this afternoon. Oklahoma City needs a win to make the playoffs. Orlando needs a win to clinch a playoff spot and potentially a first-round home playoff game. The pressure is on. It's 24-24. And Zach Parker has found his legs late here in the first half. A deep kick from Franklin Reese, 1 yard into the end zone, and Oklahoma City will start on their own 20-yard line. So Orlando 4 scores on 6 possessions, 2 punts. Oklahoma City 4 scores on 5 possessions, 1 punt, no turnovers today. Orlando 24, Oklahoma City 24. Joseph Redfeather's having one of his best games of the season. Redfeather swings it outside. That pass caught. A 4-yard gain. Johnny Bierme's second catch, his first catch of the day, was a touchdown. Joseph Redfeather in the last 2 weeks has thrown for 81 yards and 137 yards. And he's got just 2 passing touchdowns in the last 4 games, although he has one already today. He's thrown for over 300 yards twice, but that was way early in the season. 2nd and 6 at the 23. Redfeather turns and hands to Brewski. Look at the blocking for Pete Brewski! Nobody else blocks better for their back than OKC. First down, Renegades, and a timeout. Boy, you knew it by the way this play developed. Look at all of the linemen getting up the field and getting on bodies. First down, Renegades again into Orlando territory. This is just great offense by both teams who wanted this game badly. As Redfeather tosses it out to Brewski, he's going to make a man miss, and then he is wrestled down to the 38-yard line. A 3-yard gain. Clock is ticking. Oklahoma City would love to be the last one to have the football. They get the ball to start the second half. A play-action pass from Redfeather. He's going to swing it out left-hand side. That pass is dropped. Dropped on the outside by Ahanatu, and it brings up a 3rd and 7. Boy, the Renegades really needed that. They could have had a first down. Still outside of field goal range, although Griffin has made a 48-yard field goal already this afternoon. Redfeather goes shotgun on 3rd down and 7. 2 timeouts for OKC, 3 receivers to the short side right, bottom of your screen. And Redfeather's throw is going to go up the left-hand side, and it's caught by Johnny Bierme. First down, Renegades. Oh boy, Redfeather really took a shot on that one. Talk about hanging tough in the pocket. And he puts the ball on a rope. Absolutely brilliant afternoon so far for the Renegade offense. Best they've played by far this season against the 3rd best defense in the league. 1st and 10 from the 11. Redfeather back to throw. Redfeather going to the end zone. That is a touchdown! Touchdown, Renegades! Chris Taylor! 2nd touchdown of the day for Joseph Redfeather! This guy, when it's playoff time, he steps up. What a throw! In between two defenders. And I don't think anybody expected this game to be a shootout. With the way Oklahoma City's offense has been struggling, the way Orlando has mightily improved. But a key stat in this one, the Orlando Intimidators are 0-3 on the road, 4-0 at home. They just have not played as well on the road, not even close. In fact, on the road, they've given up 30, 25, 55 points, and given up 31 here in the first half. What a wild first 25 minutes of play. And Orlando has 35 seconds and 3 timeouts left to try to tie it up because the Renegades will get the ball to start the second half. First and 10 of the 27 and 2. Backs in the backfield as Matsumoto swings it outside. That pass is caught. Broken tackle to the 39. First down and 10. After the completed pass, and Zach Parker managed to get out of bounds, and that's the last thing Oklahoma City wanted to allow. That saves time on the clock for Orlando. First and 10 at the 39-yard line. The Renegades playing their best half of offensive football they've played in a long time. High formation, Matsumoto back to pass. He's going to swing it outside. That pass is caught, but the tackle is made inbounds. And Orlando, on a second down and 2, is going to go no huddle instead of calling timeouts. Matsumoto, 3-step drop, going to go down the middle of the field. A perfect pass to the 39 of OKC and a timeout. Franklin Reese's long is 51 yards. They are 5 yards away from getting in that range. Franklin Reese has never missed a field goal in his career. Down to 16 seconds, and they're going to bring out Reese for a 55-yard field goal. And I am baffled that Orlando is not going to run at least one more play. Franklin Reese from 55 yards away, and that kick is short, and he's missed his first field goal of his career, and the Renegades get the football back in great field position with 10 seconds to go. Wow, that move just completely baffles me. I don't know if Orlando just wanted to take the points there or what, but a bizarre decision. And now Oklahoma City has 10 seconds left. They're going to swing it outside. The pass is nearly intercepted. Dangerous ball there from Redfeather. That leaves 7 seconds left on the clock, and we'll see if the Renegades just go Hail Mary here. Dan Stevens and Peter O'Keefe coming up with the first half. Highlights, stats, and analysis from the SFL studios in San Antonio, Texas on the 2K Sports Halftime Report. And the Hail Mary formation is on the field for Oklahoma City. We saw a New York score on a Hail Mary formation at the end of the first half last week. Redfeather will try to do the same here. Has all day to throw. Redfeather's going to sling it down the field. The pass in the end zone is intercepted. So the first turnover of the day is how we end the half. Oklahoma City gets the ball to start the second half. It's the Renegades 31 and Orlando 24. Dan and Peter, take it away.
Touches him down for a touchback. Corey Romo.
Gets a little help from Mother Nature on this one, Dan. The high winds just make that pass a little woozy and delivers it right to him instead of the receiver.
Boy, that was a heads-up play to come away with his first interception of the game.
Yeah, you gotta love D like that.
And that'll do it for the first half of this one. The Renegades are out in front, 31-24.
Okay, Dan, let's get this halftime show started. What do you have for us?
Well, here's a look at our halftime stats, and as you can see, it paints a pretty clear picture. The Renegades should be way ahead on the scoreboard, but somehow they've let their opponents hang in there with them. Let's see if they can change things in the second half. Let's get started in this one early in the first quarter. Number 3 went up top on a third down play, and he was able to find his man. A 42-yard play that set up a visitor's touchdown. The Intimidators strike first and go up by 7. The Renegades come right back. Number 34 is going to get the carry here as they grind it out on the ground, and he makes the most of this one. A 33-yard play that set up a home team touchdown. Towards the end of the first quarter, game tied 7-all. Griffin would be summoned for the long field goal try, and his kick would be right through. The Intimidators, still late in the first, number 35 would get up ahead of steam, and then it was clear sailing from here. Unfortunately, the drive stopped shortly afterwards, and they had to punt it away. The Intimidators trailing 10-7. After driving 31 yards on 7 plays, number 86 sets up for the little chip shot, and this one, no problem. A 19-yard field goal. The Intimidators tie it up again, 10-all. Still in the second quarter, Barnes is going to work to get himself open, as you see, and he hauls this one in. A 30-yard play that set up a home team touchdown. Midway through the second, the Intimidators losing by 7. Number 44 came up with a big play as he was able to pull this one in. They tie it up again, 17-all. The Renegades, middle of the second, number 34 takes the handoff here, and look at the blocking at the point of attack. A big opening up the middle. A 75-yard touchdown for the home team. The Renegades out in front, 24-17. Number 35 would get the carry here. Good blocking up front, and it helped to spring him. A 13-yard touchdown for the visitors. The Intimidators even the score, 24-all. Answering right back, number 34 would get up ahead of steam, and then it was clear sailing from here. A 35-yard play that set up a home team touchdown. Coming up on the end of the half, the Intimidators down by 7. Number 3 connected with his man on this one. The Renegades on D. Romo was in the right place at the right time, as his interception was a possible momentum shifter. And that's how we'll round this one out. The Renegades are locked in a defensive struggle, 31-24.
Nice job, Dan.
The Renegades will receive to start the second half, and they currently enjoy a small lead, 31-24. Now, let's get to the game.
Halftime in the beautiful city of Oklahoma City. The Renegades, just in time, get their offense hooked up. They lead 31-24 with a playoff spot on the line. This is Renegade Radio. Be right back.
We really enjoy live music. It's been a big part of what the Bricktown Brewery has been for a long, long time. From major bands and major acts to really talented individuals who know how to play guitar and sing good songs you know by heart, or songs that they've created themselves. Some of the really big acts we've had that have been a lot of fun, we've done some outdoor concerts and some really big indoor concerts. Outdoors, we were able to get Big Head Todd and the Monsters with the Dave Matthews Band. back early enough to when Dave Matthews Band was actually opening up for Big Head Todd and the Monsters. That was a great show. We had the Doobie Brothers that played here to a packed out parking lot. We had the Smithereens that played here, Collective Soul with the #1 hit in the country. It was #3 when they played here, and the place just went unglued. The Smithereens I mentioned, some good country artists, David Allan Coe, Django, Jerry Jeff Walker. We've been fortunate. Huey Lewis and the News. We've had Uncle Kracker played here. Some fun bands, Dred Zeppelin. Rick Springfield played. We also had live. Many huge bands have come through here, and local bands. And we became known as the place for live music for a good 12, 13 years in Oklahoma City. Live music has been our backbone. We've had a lot of fun with it. We've had things from cellists come in here to play, and we've even had some of the classic guys, like Cheap Trick was a group that played here. Eddie Money played here twice. It's been a lot of fun. Lisa Loeb played here once. I got to meet her. That was kind of a neat experience. It's been great to be a part of national music as much as local music, and we hope to have those opportunities come our way again.
City Renegades get the football to start the second half. You're watching the SFL Network on Twitch. Renegades on the return. They score 5 times on 7 possessions, and the 7th possession was the last opportunity they had at the end of the first half when Red Feather threw up a prayer. Beer Me was in the end zone, nearly came down with it, but brilliant offense for Oklahoma City. Again, congratulations to Pete Bruschi on becoming the first running back in league history to rush for over 5,000 yards. 2 receivers and 1 back to the right-hand side. The handoff goes to Bruschi. Bruschi breaks off a tackle. That picks up 3. Bruschi 196 yards. And plenty of football left to be played. For Bruschi, it would be his 3rd game this season of 200 yards or more. Bacon on that last tackle. 2nd down and 7. We'll see what kind of adjustments the defense has made after a bad first half of play by both of the stoppers. As Red Feather drops to throw, he will check it down to Bruschi. Bruschi makes the man miss and picks up another 3 yards, so it'll set up a 3rd down and 4 to start the second half for OKC. Joseph Red Feather already nearly as many passing yards in the first half as he had in total in his last 2 outings. And the handoff goes to Bruschi, and he picks up a 1st down. Nice play call there for Oklahoma City. Stick what's working. 3rd and 4, no problem. And the Renegades keep the chains moving. First and 10 at the 36, 3 receivers to the left-hand side. And a handoff again to Bruschi. He beat the blitz, but couldn't beat, I believe, Lambert on that tackle. And it brings up 2nd down and 9. The 5th play of the drive coming up for the Renegades. Not a lot of long drives in that first half. Red Feather's quarterback rating 105.3, which happens to be the official radio home of the Renegades. So how about that? 2nd and 9 for the 37. A toss play out to Brewski. Brewski hit hard. He lost 3 yards. And a crushing hit that time by the non-star corner, I believe, Collier. And that sets up a 3rd down and 12. Not a lot of 3rd and long situations today for OKC. 10.5 to go. 6th play of the drive for Oklahoma City. 3rd and 12 from the 34. They need about the 45.5-yard line for a first down. High snap. Red Feather swings it outside. Oh, then a miscommunication. And it looked like Taylor may have come up limp on that play. Not sure if he was hurt or he just got tripped up by a hole in the grass. I'm not really sure, but some mistimed throw there by Red Feather. The receiver would have been open. That was Taylor if he would have just turned around, but he was late getting out of his break. Not every pass is perfect. Unfortunately, that comes on a 3rd and long for Oklahoma City, and they'll have to punt for just the 2nd time today. From the 31, Orlando with a return to the 34. So the Renegades take 3 minutes off the clock. That's about it. Whimsical Ronnie. That's a good team to root for. Zach Parker has been good this season. Of course, you know, on the Renegade Radio Network, we would have loved if you would have gone with OKC. Maybe you will if they can get a victory here today and get into the playoffs. Hand off to Parker, and Parker lost a yard. Nice push up front. Stackhouse on the tackle. Brewski at exactly 200 yards rushing today. And Zach Parker at 4.5 yards per carry has turned his day into a respectable afternoon. Brewski has not been held under 100 yards since game 3. Zach Parker has not, or actually was held under 100 yards last week as they swing it out to Zach around the left-hand side, breaks a tackle, and Parker picks up a solid 9 yards. A 3rd and short upcoming here for the Intimidators. A scary moment earlier in that first half as Zach Parker went out of the game on a 3rd and goal play, actually broke his finger, came back into the game after a series in which Orlando scored a touchdown with all passes. Third and 2 from the 42, and the handoff goes to Parker, and Parker's got a first down to the 46. Renegades just couldn't keep him contained enough, and the Intimidator drive will continue. So both offenses not nearly as explosive as they were in the first half. That's to be expected. As the handoff goes to Parker again, and Parker gets 9. And it brings up 2nd and 1. Honolulu Legends eliminated from the playoff contention if Orlando loses today. So they are eagerly hoping for a comeback as Zach Parker able to get outside. A late block springs Zach Parker over 5 yards per carry, and we're going to get another look at it here as number 69 comes in right at the last second as Zach Parker nears 100 yards. Into Franklin Reese field goal range. He missed his first field goal of his career earlier in the first half, a 55 risky kick, 55-yarder I should say. That's a 7-yard gain for Zach Parker, and he is tearing up the Renegades on this possession. Nearly halfway through a fast-moving third quarter, 2nd and 3 from the 26. receivers to the left-hand side. And the handoff goes to Parker. Parker can't get a thing. No gain on the play. Sets up a 3rd down 3, and the tackle made by Adam Stackhouse. Second in the league all-time in tackles with 233 coming in. 3rd down 3 for Orlando. They go Allen in the slot. 2 receivers to the right-hand side. Matsumoto has the shotgun with Parker to his right. Matsumoto, quick throw over the middle, incomplete. Knocked away. Pass intended for Thomas Gunner, and it's 4th down, and Reese will have to come on to kick a 43-yard field goal. The SFL is expanding, and the deadline to apply for a team for the Summer 15 season is tomorrow. If you're interested in becoming an SFL organization, please email simulationfl@gmail.com and make sure you visit simulationfl.com, the About SFL section. Get involved for more details. The field goal from 42 yards away from Franklin Reese is good. And your new score, Oklahoma City 31, Orlando 27. I'm going to take the time to once again give a shout out to those who are with us today. Bandits APF 2K8, Servo 222, Big Willie 54, Darth Destro MD, Don Tech, Dr. Sim 80, DXYYZ1, El Big Dookie. God, I always had some humor into the conversation. I'm Effin' Problem, Jared Hageman, OKC Renegades, prospective owner, TJ Cag SFL, T Paternity, True Shot Caller, Whimsical Ronnie, and X Factor 56. Thanks for being with us here today on the SFL Network. And tell your friends. Right now, the Renegades, 1.5 away from making a trip to Baltimore in the first round of the playoffs. We'll know the playoff scenarios, or at least one of them. One game will be decided by the end of this game. Or could be, as Brewski now 206 yards on 23 carries. If Oklahoma City wins, they will travel to Baltimore in the first round of the playoffs, and that game will be next Sunday at 3 o'clock. If Orlando wins, Orlando will play Baltimore in the first round, but Baltimore will determine where that game is played by how they fare tomorrow night against the New York Knights. The handoff goes to Brewski, and there's a penalty marker on the play. We played a pretty clean game today, just one offside, and a bad feeling this might be on OKC.
Holding, number 61, offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat, 2nd down.
So the 10-yard penalty is going to make it 2nd down and 14. Crowd doesn't like it, but that hurts some momentum for Oklahoma City, who has not scored here in the 3rd quarter.
2nd and 13.
Attacking counter! Attacking counter!
2nd down, 14. The handoff goes to Brewski. Two-yard gain brings up 3rd and 12.
Let's go!
3rd and
12. 3rd down, 12 at the 25. Coming up on 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Oklahoma City up 4. Another 3rd and long for Red Feather. Going to fire it deep to the left-hand side of the field. It's off the hands of a diving Johnny Bearme. And for the 2nd straight time here in the 3rd quarter, the Renegades have to punt. Bearme laid out for it and just could not gather in the pass as Red Feather overshot him just a little bit. And Oklahoma City has come out of this locker rooms a little sloppy here in the 2nd half. Not able to put Orlando away. as the Renegades punt it away from the 38-yard line. Orlando up to the 42. That's where they will start. Great field position for the Intimidators. After a 31-24 first half, Orlando has outscored Oklahoma City 3-0. .443 to go in the third. Matsumoto, deep drop back. Looking, no one open, so he checks it down to Parker. Parker makes a man miss, a second man miss. He's got a first down to the OKC 47-yard line. Poor tackling by the Renegades in the open field. And Zach Parker makes the most of a difficult situation. No one was open down the field. Cam Michael couldn't bring him down. Stackhouse eventually made the tackle, but Oklahoma City's got to do a better job of wrapping up Parker in open space. 4:15 left to go in the third. Matsumoto out of the shotgun. Back to pass. Matsumoto short over the middle. Pass caught. Haven't seen anything out of Isaac Perez today. That pass caught by number 45, Jeff Brown, with his fourth tackle. That's the other tight end on this Intimidator offensive line. Brings up 2nd and 3. And once again, the Intimidators approaching field goal range. Hand off to Parker. First down. Looked like he was going about half speed, but Stackhouse or any of the other Renegade defenders just couldn't get to him in time, and the chain gang busy on this drive here for the Intimidators. Nervous times for both teams. Orlando trying to get their first road victory of the season. Low snap, swing out. That is nearly got a first down. Great job by OKC making sure he couldn't get past the sticks. That is Parker's backup. They wear the same number, 2nd and inches. Yeah, Parker looked a little tired on that last play. And he's still out of the game. So on a 2nd and inches, Parker getting a breather on the sideline. And they're going to hand it off left hand side and put down in the backfield. A 4-yard loss brings up a 3rd and 4. That was Jeff Brown on the outside, his 5th tackle of the day. And Orlando missed Zach Parker on that play. A 45-yard field goal from here for Franklin Reese. Oklahoma City's had the ball just twice in the third quarter, 2 punts. Quarter's nearly over. Matsumoto back to throw. Matsumoto in trouble. Hit as he threw the pass. Caught. He fumbled it, and he fumbled it out of bounds. Cam Michael nearly recovered the fumble, but the ball rolled out of bounds, and it's 1st and 10. Neither team has turned the ball over this afternoon. That nearly was the first of the day. Matsumoto stood in the pocket, got his arm hit as he threw. Orlando may have not fully collected that football as Matsumoto going deep on this play. Diving catch is incomplete in the end zone. A wide open receiver, that was Thomas Gunner. And Matsumoto got a little bit too excited and led him just a little bit too far, and Gunner couldn't bring it in. 2nd and 10 at the 24. A dangerous moment there for OKC. They caught a break. Handoff. Left-hand side. Zach Parker. 15-10. 1 man to beat. Zach Parker scores. Touchdown, Orlando. They have taken the lead. What a drive for the Intimidators. They suck a lot of life out of this stadium as they regain the lead for the first time in quite some time. And the Renegades on the ropes again. They were on the ropes last week with 2 minutes to go. They gave up a touchdown and gave up the lead, but Red Feather battled all the way back, scored in about 60 seconds. And the Renegades held off San Francisco last week 30-25 to even put themselves in this position. Still a quarter and a couple of minutes to go, but a similar position right now for OKC, down 3. Orlando has outscored the Renegades 10-0 here in the third quarter. From the 1-yard line, Renegades on the return and not much room there, up to the 24. So in case you missed the graphic from earlier, this is the leaderboard for Oklahoma City. Pete Bruschi is second in the league in rushing, but is first currently with his 200-plus yard performance today. Cam Michael, number 1 in the league in passes defended, and Stackhouse tops, or number 2 all time, as that pass is tipped away in tackles, and first in the league all time in passes defended. Brings up a 2nd and 10 after Red Feather's incompletion as Oklahoma City continues to struggle here in the third quarter.
Let's go. 2nd and 10. 25 minutes.
2nd and 10 for the 24. Red Feather's got to get it going. Something. He's going to drop the throw again, and Red Feather down the field has a man caught, first down to the 46th. That's Beerme. 4 catches for 55 yards and a touchdown in this game, and a first down, Renegades. A nice throw by Red Feather to avoid another 3rd and long. Let's take one last look at the Orlando leaders today. Zach Parker is now 2nd in the league in rushing. Jasper Lennox, who's been quiet today, 3rd in the league in sacks with 5. Red Feather drops to throw, and Red Feather throws it down the field to Bruschi. That pass is caught, an 8-yard gain. A nice route out of the backfield by Pete Bruschi brings up a 2nd and short. And it looks like Red Feather has found a little bit of momentum again. You're watching the SFL Network on Twitch, the final week of the regular season. Oklahoma City needs a win to make the playoffs. A loss will eliminate them. Orlando needs a win to have a shot at home field advantage. A loss could potentially eliminate them, as Pete Bruschi has a huge hole. First down to the 32. The quest for 300 for Pete Bruschi. A monster. First and 10 from the 32. Orlando 34, Oklahoma City 31. Orlando, a lot of shuffling at the linebacker position. Only one deep safety. Bruschi gets 5 yards. And 227 yards is the number he will take with him into the fourth quarter. And that is the end of quarter number 3. Orlando shuts out OKC in the third quarter. They lead by a field goal, 34-31. This is Renegade Football on 105.3 FM, and we return to Transcorp Stadium after these minutes.
Let's unplug the past Let's say goodbye to those. And hello to whoa. Let's find a better way to cook this. Wash that. Compare those and save these. Because you can make dinner. Or you can make dinner a breeze. Are you ready? Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Right now, this Whirlpool washer dryer, just $3.49 each.
Lowe's presents How to Make It Quiet by Being Loud.
Come to Lowe's and save 5% every day with your Lowe's consumer credit card.
Hey, buddy. What you doing?
I'm sleeping. Who are you?
I'm your football self, and you're jeopardizing my very existence.
What? But it's so...
Shh. Because if you don't go to Lowe's and get your to-do list done today, then guess what you're going to be doing during the game on Sunday?
Go me!
Lowe's, never stop improving.
Multimedia enthusiasts will love the Inspiron 17 7000 series. This system packs a lot of horsepower, like an optional Core i7 processor, up to 16 gigabytes of RAM, and an optional dedicated graphics card. It has the performance of a desktop, the screen size of a desktop setup, but with the portability of a notebook. It offers a huge 17-inch display with an optional edge-to-edge touch full HD screen, which gives you really crisp, clear, high resolution. It has forged aluminum materials in the chassis, diamond-cut bezels. From an aesthetic standpoint, it's a really beautiful platform. The Inspiron 17 7000 series comes standard with a backlit keyboard. If you find yourself in low light level conditions, a backlit keyboard is a must. It also has a precision touchpad, so your click points are extremely precise, gesturing is extremely precise, highlighting or grabbing items using the touchpad is a really fluid experience. The Inspiron 17 7000 series is an exceptional desktop replacement. Its large 17-inch display, sturdy and elegant design, and powerful performance make for an unmatched user experience.
Oklahoma City Renegade Football on 105.3 FM is brought to you by Sam's Club. Savings made simple. By Target. Expect more, pay less. Target. By Savage Arms, the definition of accuracy. And by the Home Depot. Let's do this. That's the power of the Home Depot. It's a second down and 5 for OKC at the Orlando 27 as we begin the fourth quarter of play with Oklahoma City down 3. 2 backs and 2 receivers as Red Feather drops to throw. He's going to swing it outside, and a broken tackle gets Brewski a first down, and much more up to the 7. First down, Renegades. Needed to make that one-man miss out of the backfield, and Brewski does it. Pete Brewski, second in the league this year with 99 broken tackles coming in. First down and goal from the 7-yard line. Intimidators by 3, the handoff to Brewski. Brewski, not a lot of room there. He does pick up a couple. Second and goal. From the 5-yard line, a field goal ties the game. A touchdown takes the lead.
Second and goal from the Intimidator.
2 backs in the backfield for Red Feather. Red Feather has 2 touchdowns today. Brewski has 2 touchdowns today. And Red Feather will hand off on a counter to Brewski. He's going to try to cut back up the middle, but he ends up losing about a half a yard. Now it's 3rd and goal from the 5. And it may come down to the arm of Joseph Red Feather once more. Clock winding down to 11 and a half remaining in the game. Three receivers, all to the short side left. As Red Feather will throw. Red Feather will fire a touchdown! Touchdown! Renegades! The second of the day for the former Intimidator, Chris Taylor. No one picks up Taylor. He just kind of sits down. And really, Taylor and Beerme were wide open. Bad defense by Orlando, and it results in the third touchdown pass of the day for Joseph Redfeather. For Joseph Redfeather, that is only the second time he has thrown 3 touchdowns in a ball game this season. The extra point for Oklahoma City is up and good, and it's Renegades 38 and Orlando 34. And if you don't believe how close this game has been, check out these stats from the end of 3 quarters. Orlando had 398 yards of offense, Oklahoma City 397. Both teams have over 130 yards both on the ground and through the air. As OKC will kick it away. From the 10, Orlando on the return, 25 up to the 28. More stats from the end of 3, it gets even closer. Orlando 18 first downs to OKC's 16. Both teams 5 of 9 on third downs, and neither team has turned the ball over today. Zach Parker, 22 carries for 132 yards, averaging now 6 yards a carry, which is much closer to his record average. 38-34. The handoff to Parker around the left-hand side. Parker's got blockers, and he gets 9 yards on the carry. Bring up a second down and 1.
Number 49, credited with the tackle. Second and inches.
For Orlando, this is the most points they've given up in the last month since playing Minneapolis. In fact, it's the second most points they've given up all season. Second and 1 at the 38-yard line. Matsumoto changes the play to a counter to Parker. Parker breaks a tackle, and Parker's got a first down. A 5-yard gain up to the 43-yard line. First and 10 of the 43. 2 receivers, Matsumoto back to throw. Matsumoto going deep to the left-hand side. The pass is caught by Allen. First down to the Renegade 38-yard line. A precision pass from from Matsumoto to Lorenzo Allen, and another Orlando first down into OKC territory. And he could not have put that football in a better place. As Allen goes up high to get it, Michael and Casper combine for the stop. Under 10 minutes to play. Oklahoma City 38, Orlando 34. Playoff positioning on the line. As Matsumoto will swing it outside. There's a penalty marker late, and they might have thrown a flag on Oklahoma City for pass interference. If so, that would be the 3rd penalty of the day on OKC.
Pass interference, number 57, defense. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
So a first down spot foul up to the Oklahoma City 30-yard line. A costly penalty. They called it on Brown. Allen's had a big day, nearly 200 receiving yards. The handoff goes to Parker around the left-hand side. Parker is brought down pretty quickly. Tank Savage has been one of the better tacklers of the day on OKC's defense. Parker up to 149 rushing yards. And Parkey Chol is the only other back over 1,000 yards. I doubt he's going to catch Parker and Bruschi atop the leaderboard after today. Snyder needs 58 yards to have a 1,000-yard season as Matsumoto's going deep. The pass is caught by Allen inside the 5, down to the 3-yard line. Allen unstoppable all afternoon, and he was pretty open. Billy Joe Casper stops him 3 yards shy of pay dirt. But this game far from over. Under 9 minutes to go, Orlando trying to regain the lead. Three in the backfield, they hand off to Parker. Parker's going to be, no, he's not going to be caught from behind, but finally tackled down by Stackhouse at the line of scrimmage. Parker nearly got away from pressure on his backside. Second and goal from the 3. Two in the backfield and 10 in the box for OKC. They have stacked it up. And off to Parker. This is where real men are made of, and Parker lost a yard. Isaac Wallace on the tackle. He's been a bit quiet today, although he has done a pretty nice job shutting down Thomas Gunner. Gunner's had a very quiet afternoon. Under 8 minutes to go, third and goal, Orlando. Two receivers, Allen bottom of the screen. Matsumoto is going to hand it off to Parker, and Parker is not good again. Fourth and goal from the 1 for the second time today. And OKC holds to a field goal. Smart decision for Orlando. It's tough to not score a touchdown in this situation, but you want to give yourself a better shot at the end of this game. But what a stand by Oklahoma City to keep the lead. And a bad snap. The 18-yard field goal is good, and it's a 1-point ball game. Honolulu trying to hold out hope here. They need an Orlando victory to remain in playoff contention. If Oklahoma City wins, they will be the number 3 seed. They will travel to Baltimore next Sunday at 3 p.m. Central, as Oklahoma City returns to the 23-yard line. Orlando and Baltimore would play each other with an Intimidator win. Location to be determined, and game time to be determined as well. 7:07 to go in the ball game. Oklahoma City 38, Orlando 37. I formation, Bruschi on a counter, left-hand side, still on his feet. A nice 6-yard pickup for Pete, averaging 8.1 yards per carry today. And anything that can get some yards and run some clock is great for OKC. The next game on the SFL Network on Twitch is tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. After you're done getting your fill of chocolate and a nice family dinner, if you celebrate Easter, make sure to catch out the tune in to the SFL Network at 6 p.m. 7 Central. One of the best rivalries in the league, as the New York Knights, although they're eliminated, will try to get some revenge on Baltimore, who's beaten them all 3 meetings by 4 points or less. It's an Easter Sunday special and could determine whether Orlando or Baltimore hosts the first round playoff game in the 2-3 matchup, as Red Feather's pass over the middle is incomplete, and it brings up a 4th and 2. A.J. Lacoste knocked it away Not the best throw from Red Feather today, and Orlando gets the stop. From the 33, Orlando up to the 35-yard line. First down and 10. Intimidators, not a guarantee to make the playoffs, despite a tremendous season. Oklahoma City trying to punch their ticket, become the third team to do so, and they sack Matsumoto. A rare sack today, but a 3-yard loss brings up second and long. Kabir Carson. Second and 13, down to 5.5 minutes to go. Two receivers, two backs in the backfield, a back-and-forth contest all day. Neither team has turned the ball over. Matsumoto swings it outside. That pass is caught by Gunner, but he ran out of bounds after a 6-yard pickup. As there are the quarterback numbers. Matsumoto, 318 yards on the day. Red Feather, a $194, which is his best day in the last 3 to 4 weeks. Matsumoto, a clean day, and check that. The interception at the end of the first half was our only turnover. I just kind of don't consider it as a turnover. It was more like a free play punt. That pass caught, a vicious hit. Put on the slot receiver, but he moved the chains. That was Wilson before the pop. First down, Orlando. That was nasty. First and 10 of the 47 for Orlando, driving. All they need is a field goal. They've already gotten 3 today from Franklin Reese. 4 receivers, 2 to either side. Matsumoto back to pass. And the swing out to Allen is caught for a first down. The OKC 39-yard line.
First down, Intimidators.
4:19 to play. And Orlando is mindful, as Allen stated, mindful to continue to run clock. They've already run about 3 minutes off of it on this possession. Matsumoto back to pass, looking for Allen on a little route up the middle, and it's a 7-yard pickup with under 3 to go. And Orlando has entered into field goal range. Another close call here for the Oklahoma City Renegades. Last week, a 30-25 victory. A couple of weeks before that, a 26-21 victory. The previous 2 weeks, they lost 2 games by 7. Second down and 3. Stackhouse blitzes inside and hits Zach Parker. Beautiful job by Adam Stackhouse, rushing the runner, and it's 3rd and 3. Down to 3:20 to go. And for the first time today, really a standing ovation for the OKC defense. The crowd looking for a stop. Matsumoto hands off to Parker. He is dropped for a loss. Dropped for a loss back at the 35-yard line. It would be a career long for Franklin Reese. And could the Orlando Intimidators be punting? They are punting the football. Franklin Reese missed a 55-yard field goal, well short in the first half. And I can't believe with a star kicker, Orlando is going to punt the football. And it's not a very good punt. Decent punt, but not great. Fair catch called for at the 11-yard line, and Orlando is going to rely on their defense to get the football back. That was a huge play in the backfield made by the Renegade defense. That totally changed the situation of this ball game. Just didn't have the faith that Reese could make a 52-yard field goal after he badly missed a 55 in the first half. But man, game on the line. It's a little shocking, but it could pay off here if Orlando can get some decent field position and have a chance to win the game in the final seconds. It's now 2nd down and 6. If Oklahoma City's smart, they don't run another play before the 2-minute warning. And they will not. Smart job by OKC there. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification along the Renegade Radio Network. The home of Renegades. Lock it in and shoot the knob off. 105.3, Oklahoma City. Second and 6 of the 14. Orlando needs a stop. Can they stop Brewski on a draw? Brewski got 4 and a timeout. Orlando, 3rd and 2. I know this sounds crazy, but I think Oklahoma City should pass here. I think Orlando is keying in on the run. You can see everybody's looking at Pete Brewski right now. I think maybe you pass this ball. 3rd and 2, let's see what they do. They're going to run it to Brewski, and he's got it. No, he didn't get it! He got stuffed, and Bovine was injured on the play. And because of the injury, the clock stops without Orlando having to burn a timeout. It looked like Brewski had it. And then someone came in. I couldn't see who made the tackle, but they completely took the legs out from under Pete Brewski, and Bovine's injury saves Orlando a timeout. And now Orlando is going to get the ball with pretty decent field position from their own 46 up to the 49-yard line. That was a potentially season-saving tackle made on Pete Brewski, and unfortunately I think it was a pretty good spot of the football. It looked like he had it, just lost his legs. Renegade defense needs to come up big. As Matsumoto swings it outside, narrowly intercepted. Cam Michael, who leads the league in passes defended this season, knocks it away. 2nd and 10.
Let's go. 2nd and 10.
1:42 remaining. Oklahoma City that close to clinching a playoff spot. Orlando that close from clinching a playoff spot. Matsumoto pump fake, swings it outside. Parker trying to turn the corner, breaks a tackle. Parker got 8 yards, but the clock is still moving. And Orlando with 2 timeouts does not want to give the ball back to OKC. They want to be the last one to score, so they are taking their time. 3rd down and 2 of the 43. 2 backs and 2 receivers. OKC needs a stop. Matsumoto's going to throw. Down the middle. The pass is caught. Is that Perez? That is his first catch of the day. He was the same guy to make the miracle play for Orlando 2 weeks ago against Baltimore. And his first catch of the day might have won the game for Orlando. Unbelievable. Nobody covered the forgotten.